Welcome to another AutoSpec Renew video. Today we are in South Florida near Tampa with Kai and his mad Plaidessey. How did you end up with this? And tell us everything about the Plaidessey.
So yeah, this is the Plaidessey. It's just an old 2001 Honda Odyssey minivan. But what some of you might not know by looking at it is that it's actually just a body sitting on top of a 2022 Tesla Model S Plaid. Yeah. So it is a 1,000 horsepower sleeper minivan.
So let's go back in time a little bit. You started your YouTube channel and you ended up with the first Odyssey minivan with a big 4-cylinder, big turbo car on the drag strip. That's where you got famous for.
Yeah.
And then you realized maybe there was another alternative.
Yeah.
So why did you choose the Tesla drivetrain?
Well, I rode in a Tesla Plaid with a buddy of mine, and after, I've always loved internal combustion. We've always wrenched on drag cars, and EVs are this new upcoming thing. A lot of people have mixed opinions about it, especially car guys. I just like anything that's fast. I don't care what the power plant is. Obviously, I love the noises and the fireballs that the internal combustion engines make, but I rode in a Plaid and I was like, this thing's sick. I can't deny that, but I was thinking, how could I put this power plant into something? And I didn't know much about Teslas, if anything, and I thought, man, I wonder if these can just drive like without the body, And so I did some digging online. I found some videos where people were taking them apart, like older generation Model S's, and they would still drive as just like the skateboard. And I went online and I looked up the wheelbase, and given my background with sleeper minivans, I had a 01 Odyssey, and I found out that the wheelbase was almost identical. And I was like, I got to figure out how to make that happen. So I got up on Copart. I ended up finding a wrecked Model S Plaid, and we completely cut the body of it off and put a Honda Odyssey on top of it. And now we have the Plaidessey.
So what were the main challenges? I mean, the wheelbase might be the same, but say the seating position is completely different.
Yeah, the seating position could be better. So since the Model S was a factory sedan, everything inside is pushed back. Whereas like a minivan and an SUV, everything is naturally pushed closer to the front for the dash to make more room for occupants in the back and things like that. So the seat in the front here is pretty far back. You can see like the dash is almost a foot off of the windshield there. So you're far back, you're down low. It doesn't line up perfectly, but it gets the job done, and it's really not too bad to drive. And for what it is, I was like, that's an easy sacrifice for me to make to build this thing.
And the job is to eat good times on the drag strip.
Yeah. The main job is to, pull up on people unsuspecting at a streetlight and just blow their doors off, and they're going to be like, what just happened? I'm pretty sure I just saw that minivan go 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds next to me.
So you did have those two together on the drag strip. Did you against one another?
Yeah,
so
we had
what
both
were
of
the
these
times?
races. So this one has been a best of a 9.5 with the minivan body on top of it. Before we put the van body on it, it actually ran an 8.7 in the quarter mile because we had so much weight taken off of it. And up until recently, it had the record for the fastest Model S Plaid in the quarter mile.
Well,
I think just Tesla in general. Yeah, it might not have been much of a Model S, but it was the fastest Tesla in the quarter mile up until recently. Someone did just beat that. But yeah, we ran this one and that one together, and both of them have been a best of about 9.5.
So how do you just figure a way to make this work? I mean, the body on top is one thing, but making the Tesla drive without the body, was it a big challenge? Did you work with other people helping you to make it run?
It was actually really easy. So the only help I had was from Rich Rebuilds. I'm sure you guys are familiar with him, and Chris from BoostedBoiz for Build. Those are the only two guys that I talked to, and I didn't talk to them much. Just got some pointers here and there. Chris recently picked up some Teslas, and he cut the body of one off because he was getting ready to body swap it and do some stuff. So I kind of asked him, is there anything I need to know about? And he's like, no, I pretty much just unplugged everything and it worked. Wow. And when I talked to Rich about it, he's like, just keep unplugging stuff and just keep checking. And the guys over at Electrify Garage helped me as well. And they said, just every time you unplug something, just make sure the car goes into drive. Unplug something, make sure it goes into drive so you're not freaking it out, so you can take note of everything that you're unplugging as you go. So yeah, as we took a door off, make sure it go into drive. After we unplugged a chair or an airbag or whatever, we'd make sure it goes into drive. And we just kept unplugging stuff, and nothing really seemed to affect it. It never cared. So by the time we got the entire body off the car, it'd still go into drive. I mean, we had a ton of error codes and stuff, but it never affected the performance or anything. It just let it drive and do its thing. So I was like, perfect.
you bought a damaged car to start with, the Model S. Did you
Yes.
do any work to get it running first? Or it was already driving as it was?
The only thing I had to do was replace the low power battery up front because it sat in the Copart yard and that died.
Yeah.
And once I fixed that, it just worked.
Wow, happy days.
So
Let's check out the original
Okay.
Odyssey with this 4-cylinder, but it sounds like a big V8 even
Yeah.
though it's a 4-cylinder. So this put you in the map on YouTube. I know you
Yeah,
had the
this was
Civic
a big
before,
one.
but that was the big one.
yeah, so if you guys happen to get a clip of the red Civic out there, that was the original car that kind of got our channel kick started up and going. We used to street race a lot, and I've always been into turbo Hondas because that's what I grew up with. My parents thought I was, going to be too reckless if they got me like a Subaru or something like that, and they accidentally bought me a car with the most aftermarket support. They thought a little innocent Honda Civic couldn't be fast, but I made it
Wow.
made it fast. So we started street racing with the Civic, and I always liked the sleeper aspect of it because even a Civic is pretty unsuspecting when you're out there like racing people. Nowadays, it's kind of known like, oh, you probably shouldn't underestimate a little Honda out there with a turbo, but back then it was, people underestimated it for sure. And I wanted to take that a step further, so I built the Odyssey here, and I had the same power plant from that Civic in this minivan. So I was already kind of obsessed with sleepers, like sleeper minivans. So this is a fully built Honda K-Series with an all-wheel drive sequential drivetrain,
Wow.
big old turbo, and this one makes just over 1,000 horsepower to the wheels. This one's really loud, and it's not as much of a sleeper as the Plaidessey because it's on big radials.
Yeah.
It's kind of obvious. You know what you're getting
And
yourself
roll cage
into.
and
You can
everything.
see the intercooler through the bumper. So if you're a car guy, you know something's up with this minivan.
We did the lights, yeah.
So these are actually the LED circuit boards out of the Tesla taillights. I took them apart and just glued them into the Odyssey housings, and they actually lined up pretty good. So they just plugged right in to the harness that was already there. And then I put the backup camera from the Tesla's hatch on here. So I have the backup camera working along with the license plate lights. And the back does open up. It's a little dark in here right now.
So charge port is still
Yeah,
around.
the charge port's just dangling right there. You can see this is where the back of the van connects to the Tesla. So we cut it here because all that was crumpled from the wreck. And we just have some like 2.5-inch square tubing that is welded to the back of the van, and then that is bolted to the back of the Tesla here, and then we just got this little panel over the back so we can still throw stuff in the back here. And we just have the roll cage in it right now because we were running some events, but normally that wasn't inside of the Tesla. And with the new Plaidessey version 2, we're not going to have a roll cage or anything like that in it. My goal is just to make it just a nice functional daily minivan that no one can suspect is a Tesla Plaid underneath.
So on the new one, you will have 5 seats.
All 6 seats.
All 6 seats,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'll have the front, middle, and rear seats. And we got the hitch on the back too. So whenever we want to tow the jet skis or the boat, we can pull it with the hitch.
All right, Carl, could you show me what's under the hood?
Yeah, so we're actually using the factory Tesla hood latch as well. So you can see we have the model of the car right here, and if I hit open on the front, it opens up.
All right. So,
Yeah, I don't have a hood latch. So
yes,
you gotta hold it.
a few bits missing. What did you have to cut to fit the front of the Odyssey?
We cut off, there were some plastic inner fender wells over here and some structure that was coming up over this way. It had a whole piece right here to support the fender. We chopped all that stuff out of the way. Honestly, the front didn't take too much cutting.
Was there any fabrication for the front?
Yeah, so we have a little steel bar that runs all the way through the front right here just to kind of support the headlights and front bumper. We were actually able to reuse the Tesla, I guess this would be like a front bumper and radiator support right here, this big plastic piece, and we were actually able to just make some brackets right off that guy. It honestly lined up extremely well, like surprisingly well. We didn't have to do much to the front, just make a couple mounting tabs, bolt the fenders on, and there you have it.
Like it
I mean,
was meant to be.
It honestly did not take much effort to get this on there. I mean, if we were to restart, I could probably do the whole thing in like maybe a week. Like it really went on extremely easy. I thought it was going to be a lot harder.
Talking about restarting, this is only phase 1 of your project. you have another Plaidessey in the works.
We do. We have
All
a
right.
version 2 coming up.
Yeah. So let's check it out.
Yeah.
All right, so this is phase 2 of the project Plaidessey.
So this one is a 2022 Model X, which will be Plaidessey version 2. So the main reason I went with the Model X for the second version here is because of the seating position and how much better it's going to line up in the Odyssey body.
Yeah.
So since this is an SUV, everything is naturally taller, the seating position's higher, and the dash is much closer to the front end of the car here, and the dash is also higher off the floor of the car. So when you actually open the door with the minivan body on it, it's going to feel pretty normal. So I actually had a piece of tape on here. The back edge of the Odyssey door will end about right here. So it'll only be a 2.5-inch difference. So the edge of the Odyssey door will be about right there. So when you open it up, it will feel
normal,
feel natural.
Yeah,
you won't notice anything's off. And then when we make the sliding doors either go up or suicide, who knows how we're going to do the back doors yet, you'll be able to go right to the back seats here, and we'll have, you know, enough room for 6 passengers, so it will be like a minivan again, and it will just be a nice complete little package.
How long do you anticipate this is going to take? Because as you said earlier, you could redo the Model S fairly straightforward.
Yeah, with how hacked we did that one and we slapped it together, we did that one relatively quickly, but with this one we're going to take a little bit more time just to try to make the cuts a little cleaner and try to make this one just more presentable. If we take it to a show or something like that, people can check it out and they're like, damn, they did hopefully a decent job on this thing. It's definitely new to us. We're not body guys. We work on, you know, these internal combustion drag cars most of the time, but we're going to do our best to try to do a good job to make it presentable. So it might take us a little longer than it took us to do that one, probably a couple months, I'd say.
What do you think the phases will be? Taking this one to bits and then cut the other Odyssey, or what do you think would be the process?
Well, if we're bored one day, we might just start cutting the van because we know how we need to go about cutting the minivan here. So we got this fresh Odyssey right here. This one's a much straighter body, no rust, and
it's almost too nice.
Yeah, I mean, she's almost too nice. I do hate to see my minivans getting cut up, but this one was about to go to a scrapyard, so we're kind of saving it.
Yeah.
A subscriber actually hit me up about this one, and he was going to just have it crushed. So he said if you want it, it would be a perfect candidate for your version 2. So I went and picked it up from him. But we'll end up taking the interior out of this one. We have to completely cut the floor out all the way around, so it's basically like a big RC car body. That's just how you can imagine it. Just nothing in the floor, just the outer shell. All the doors will still be a part of it. Right after the firewall forward, that all gets cut out, including the firewall itself, but we still leave the inner structure of it. But the firewall is gone, the floor is gone, and then after we cut all that out, we'll probably start on the van first and then move to the Model X. So there's only a couple more things I want to do to the Model X before we completely cut it up. Right now, this passenger window isn't working. Both windows on this side don't work, and we think it has to do with a body control module.
Okay.
So I have a new one coming. So we want to get everything working on this before we cut it up, because then it's going to make it that much harder to diagnose any problems we might have. So once we get the windows fixed, then we'll go ahead and start cutting this up and cutting that up right after it. And then we're going to do our best to save all the electronics out of the Model X, all the wiring harnesses and everything, and try to incorporate all of that into the Odyssey's stuff. So if we can like just take the power and ground off the window motor and wire it to this window motor, so all the factory switches and like stuff from the touchscreen and the Tesla work, you can control all the functions as if it's still a Tesla. It'd be really cool to like make this do the light show that the Teslas can do, and I just want to try to make it as functional as possible. Keep as many of the Tesla functions working in the van as we can.
So Kai, let's see what this thing can do.
Yeah. I'm sure you've been in a Plaid before, so it'll feel very similar.
Yeah, all right. Can you feel the weight of the higher roof and everything, or it's just...
A little bit, but it definitely doesn't affect it much.
Okay. So you are not using any program or anything outside of the stock unit?
Yep,
Yeah.
all stock.
Any setup on the dash you use at all, or is it just a regular?
Just all regular. Yep, so we still got the track mode, the drag strip mode, all that good stuff. What's nice is I still have the AC, so that still works, so that'll still blow, keep us cool. I can turn it down for the video.
Now, did you try to take this for a service at Tesla?
I did try to take it before we put the minivan body on it, when it had the exo cage, and they're like, yeah, we can't touch it. Ready?
Yeah.
And those tires just right at the edge of what they can do for traction.
Yeah. It's not even knocking or making any noise. It's just
Nope, she's silent.
Tesla.
When you take it down the highway, we do get some tire noise because the
It's cut
tires
out.
are exposed right here, so you can
Okay.
actually see out the side of the van there. But once we do the version 2, we'll get all that sealed up, so it's nice and quiet and comfortable.
So it will be a full-on minivan.
Yep.
Soccer mom minivan.
Yep. Take the kids to soccer practice.
I was not even anticipating this, but it worked. Kyle, thank you so much for this experience. It's quite something.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing the Model X, Plaidessey version 2, and then your next project.
Yeah, she's
thank you
coming.
so much. Guys, if you like what you saw today, let us know in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one. Are you going to do another launch? Just let me know before you do it.
Yeah, don't catch you up.
All right.
I'll do another one right now.
All right, let's
You
do
ready?
it. Yeah. It does not get old.